kind of depends on your goal. But like I've got someone that's having breast augmentation surgery, and my advice to her was, let's do 5 milligrams. I said, let's base everything off BPC just so it's really easy and I don't confuse you. Let's do 5 milligrams of BPC per day for the first 12 days. And then we'll probably cut it back to 1 milligrams of BPC. So in that intense phase, they're going to get 5 milligrams of BPC per day, 5 milligrams of TB, and 20 milligrams of GHK copper.
1, 2, I think there was 8 incisions. There was like one up high on the pec each side, one down here, and then one on the inside. And there's, you can still see like just the bare, little tiny scar, but they were just little incision there and little incision there. And then they just sucked all the fat out. And I still remember seeing the tube thing get filled up at like 5 a.m. first thing in the morning. Cool. He's in there and he's sucking all that fat out. But yeah, my pecs would get just striated. 12 weeks out, man, pecs are like, wah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with coaches Skip Hill, Andrew Berry, myself, Scott McNally. All of our programming is brought to you by you, the people of Patreon. And we do have a bunch of Patreon questions today, including a physique critique. We are also brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. Use our code THINK over there for additional savings on high quality, third-party tested supplements, all your basic protein powder, creatine. Get the Team Skip Protein Blend. We are brought to you by SupplementSource.ca for Canadians. They do have great deals that change week to week. And guys, we're just going to dive straight into listener questions. Basically, this is the stuff that all three of us do nonstop, right? Like answering
24/7.
It really, man. All day long. So
all consuming.
Yeah, all consuming. Yes, FML. Except for Sundays for Skip. Sunday is Skip's day off for Sundays, the family.
Yeah, unless I get an email. All my clients know if you need something, I don't want you waiting, and you're not imposing on family time, I will respond, but I will not set up notifications to my phone because my phone will literally blow up. Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
what's your day? You have a day?
Friday. Friday's my day off. And I gotta, except for, of course, if you are working with competitors and shows are always on Saturdays, there are definitely situations where like I'm still working with people. And of course I put the podcast up on Friday. So that's like a 6:30 to a 10:30 in the morning thing. So it's part of the day off. But anyway, we're just going to fire straight ahead into listener questions from you guys today. And I'm going to start with Patreon because we did have a bunch of stuff there that we had collected. It's not okay, so this isn't a real common one, but this is Adam. And Adam had actually been to my house. I remember when he first started to wanting to learn how to train. He came out and we did a push day, we did a pull day, and we did a legs day. Like not back to back, but like he came back out a couple weeks later, put together a home gym. He was extremely obese and he ended up getting the, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had a stomach. If it was like a band, something like that.
Laparoscopic band.
Yeah. And anyway, though, he used that to catapult himself forward. I've seen him since, and I'm like, whoa, he doesn't even look like the same human being.
Really?
He's been consistently training for years now. He's very meticulous. He's followed all the podcasts since then, and he's been his own bodybuilding coach. He's done a great job. So here's the situation. He says, former fat guy that has lost 100 pounds and kept it off for years now. I'm looking to get a tummy tuck due to the loose skin. Have you guys had clients do this? And if so, any tips on the process before surgery prep, etc.? Thanks. And I know we do have some guys listening that are dealing with loose skin. They probably want to hear about, I guess, just a loose skin topic in general,
Let me ask, is he's going to get the surgery to remove the loose skin? Is that right?
That's what he's looking to do. Yeah.
Okay.
He called it a tummy tuck, so I assume that's...
Tummy tuck or a reverse tummy tuck? They pull up or they pull down?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just wonder because he may be referencing it. In either way, the setup, I guess, or the plan going in, I always tell my clients, sure, same thing with gyno surgery. It's a lot of the same thing. Be lean. Mm-hmm. No matter how experienced that surgeon is, give them less skin to play with and to get it cosmetically nice, looking nice. The leaner you are, the better off that you're going to be in a situation like that. So Yeah, man, there's a lot of procedures out there. They can do it on your back now too.
Really?
For lower back, yeah, because a lot of times the lower back, you know, and I don't want to say I've looked into it, but I paid attention when other clients have, because I'm like,
You've had clients that have done it?
Yeah, or have looked into the procedure in depth. And one of those things from the back is a lot of times it's categorized as loose skin versus, we all tend to think as we age, oh, we're carrying more body fat. It can also be that you're carrying more body fat, don't get me wrong, but the skin has fallen. I mean, I'm old enough where I can go, when I'm in the off season, or if I'm flat and I'm lean, underneath my pecs doesn't look very desirable. I'm going to be honest with you. It's to the point where these are the things that masters levels guys do. Okay. Here's one. Here's a gem. Doing a front lat spread. If you're not full, you better make sure. Exaggerated smile. Do an exaggerated smile right now and tell me that you're.
Oh, you can kind of like lift
skin lifts. It will take away a crease underneath your pec. So if you're not going to smile for any of your poses,
but that one,
force the smile for a front lat spread. It's a game changer from a old guy skin standpoint. Typically, if you have loose skin in the stomach area, you're probably going to have a little bit of loose skin under your pecs too. So there's a freebie.
Wow.
But outside of getting lean, how are you going to prep for it? I mean, you always want to make sure that your skin is elastic as elastic as possible. And I had a hard time getting that one out for some reason. And something as simple as a minor zinc deficiency can play into the elasticity of the skin as well. So there are minor things in there, but outside of getting lean, I really can't think of anything that's big. I mean, am I missing something?
I'm thinking more post-surgery in terms of peptides like GHK copper, BPC. There's another one I learned about just the other day, which is
same wavelength with you. I got the GHK right here. I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking to experiment with it.
I use the injectable, and I also use the topical. To try to fix some of the wrinkles on my face.
Okay. But how long have you been using it for now?
Maybe. Wow. So here's the thing. I've been traveling so much and I always forget to bring it. So there's like 4 days during the week where I don't use it. So it's kind of like the guy that goes into PT and they're like, hey, is PT working? And the guy had given him like a ton of exercises to do on his own and hasn't been doing them. So I can't give it a fair shake.
PT doesn't work, man.
Yeah.
You doing it?
Exactly.
No.
I did 2 minutes of it last week. And it's like, well, your sheet says to do it 4 times a week, 10 reps, 3 times a day or something,
Yeah. Oh, Adam's with us. He said it was a gastric sleeve that he had. That's
gastric sleeve. Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, man?
No, but I would definitely try the GHK copper. I would definitely try BPC 157 collagen intake post surgery. I think that's probably. I don't know if I'd do it before because I think you want to let the doctor get as much loose stuff as possible and get you as tight. We'll call it a tight fit as possible, and then afterwards really try to strengthen.
Yeah. I rarely ever have talked about this, not because I'm like ashamed, but it hasn't come up very much. I had lipo done. It was like,
oh, is that right?
Really?
Yeah. I had lipo done. It was like really early on into bodybuilding, like a couple years in. And it's because I had pseudogynecomastia from just being a teenager.
Being a kid.
Being a kid. And I remember to this day, because like nobody tells you what gyno is at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I didn't get gland, thankfully, so that wasn't an issue. But I remember like I had this, it was like a pullover sweatshirt and it had the little logo embroidered on it, and that was right on my nipple. And halfway through the day, I'm like, ooh.
I was there.
Yeah. And it freaking hurt, man, to the point where I'm like, I guess that you're supposed to wear. I didn't think about like, well, this didn't happen before, but for some reason it's happening now. I didn't like make that connection. I just went like, I guess I'm supposed to wear a t-shirt under this. Basically you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what that was, and honestly, then so looking back at my my dad's side of the family too, a lot of the men are like very heavy chested. It was very genetic.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got into bodybuilding and I heard about what gynecomastia was, and I started putting these pieces together, and I'm like, oh. And so I'm feeling like for gland, thankfully there was no gland, right?
Yeah.
So then I discovered there's something called pseudogynecomastia that you can get as a teenager, and it never went away. In fact, I'm going to be flat honest, like that was the reason I started lifting weights.
Because fill out the pecs more and
I was like,
give you some confidence. And,
I was like, well, because my shape of my pec isn't round now. There's like a divot here, and then it drops down, and it probably wasn't nearly as bad as it was in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to make that rounder. I need to stretch that out. So I started lifting, and that's literally what got me focused on bodybuilding at like 13 years old. And but I still, like I said, I didn't know. So when I was getting into bodybuilding seriously and I learned about gear, I started looking into surgery. And I think back then it wasn't that expensive. It was maybe like $1,000 to get lipo done. And this was by a well-known doctor in my area. And it ended up going really good. Like it went really well. Got rid of the fat. And, I never had it again. And then from there, you guys want to hear something crazy. Whenever I would get in shape, my chest would get lean first.
super lean. Yep.
Super lean. Because you get rid of those fat cells. You don't have fat cells there anymore. And there was like, I can't remember, 1, 2, I think there was 8 incisions. There was like one up high on the pec each side, one down here, and then one on the inside. And you can still see like just the bare, little tiny scar. But they were just little incision there and little incision there. And then they just sucked all the fat out. And I still remember seeing the tube thing get filled up at like 5 a.m. first thing in the morning. Cool. He's in there and he's sucking all that fat out. But yeah, my pecs would get just striated. 12 weeks out, man. Pecs are like, wah. It was sick. Cool. I never looked back. That was something too. Like I didn't have a lot of money. I think I made $8.50 an hour at the time. Wow. And I saved that money up in order to do that procedure because it was that important to me. Man, that stuff, it fucks with your head, dude. Body image stuff,
Sure.
Well, in high school, I had the same exact thing, Scott. My nickname was Moose. It was Moose Tit.
Oh, God.
Because I had one of them that was
kids
just
kids are so nice.
Oh, it didn't even bug me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm still bigger than you. I'm still stronger than you. Like, I'm the kind of person that you can... And I wish it happened more because I think people think, oh, the big guy. Like I can be the brunt of a joke. I can take it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times when we're in family situations or with friends and stuff, people be joshing and making fun of each other. And I'm trying to throw some stuff in there too, but rarely does it come back at me. And I think maybe it's because people realize it doesn't bug me or it doesn't doesn't dig at all. But yeah.
I never had it. I do remember in my teenage years, though, because this is back in like 52. Whatever.
Back in NAM.
I can self-deprecate as well. But the jerseys that we wore for basketball, because I was a baller, shot caller. Anyway, we would have to wear Band-Aids on our nipples because it was that thick uniform material that when you ran, it would jump up and down. Or, the shirt would jump up and down, and it would just rub your nipples raw. So we have to wear Band-Aids and that was back during the real short shorts, like Larry Bird shorts when they had the buckle on the front, that type of thing. Oh. Yeah, it was.
You asked me what I watch. So when I'm eating, I watch YouTube Shorts skip. And lately I've been just going to town on Larry Bird stories because... Man. He was the biggest shit talker of all time, and he like there's one story that got me the other day was
track today, guys. Remember?
No, all right, I won't tell the story. It's hilarious.
Tell us later. We had a bunch of stuff. We were doing our best on this one. Fine. I love that though. You're like, oh wait. Yeah.
I'm just trying to have a conversation with my friend here, but Scott's playing principal.
You're gonna ruin everything.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Tell us later. We want to hear the Larry Bird story. I'm making a note right here. Actually, I'm pretending to make a note right now.
Just tell me. Yeah, don't even tell Scott.
It's me,
All right.
Scott.
All right. Is there anything else that we should cover on this?
No.
So, I mean, I do think, though, that, this kind of stuff is super common. I will add that from what I understand, any type of skin removal is considered to be a pretty invasive procedure. The skin is the largest organ in your body, and so it's considered to be like a pretty major incision.
For some of you.
It's considered to be a pretty major
But I got to
incision.
stay on topic. Oh, shit. Okay. Get us to the next question.
So do be careful with that. All right. So we got a bunch of stuff.
Let me also just say, don't ask us. Ask your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Ask the one that's done about 1,000 of these procedures, not 3 guys that have never really had the surgery, with the
Right.
exception of Scott.
Yeah. All right. We had another one here. Okay. Duck Dane, a.k.a. Justin, who's with us in the stream as well. He said he hit enter too many times. So instead of like one cohesive paragraph, there's like a line, a line, a line, a line, a post, a post, a post, a post. This is Justin. One of them says, though, that Andrew is an effing wizard. So he says,
I'll take it.
let's read these all backwards here, starting at the bottom. What do you guys think about this combo for rebuild? I'm sure others would like to know if you agree or disagree. What would be your recommended doses? F my life, I hit enter before I posted the peptides. NAD plus, GHK, copper, BPC 157, and TB 500. Just want to know the mix and if it's plausible for increased recovery. And then next post, Andrew is an effing wizard. And then next post, my name is Justin, by the way.
So to my favorite listener, Justin, I'm going to say I think, and I'm going off of conversations I've had with peptide people, and I think a 1-to-1 ratio of TB and BPC, and then a 40-to-1 ratio of GHK copper to BPC. So, for an example, a bottle would be something like 10 milligrams of BPC, 10 milligrams of TB, and 40 milligrams of GHK copper.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then how much to take is probably what his next question is. Kind of depends on your goal, but like I've got someone that's having breast augmentation surgery, and my advice to her was, let's do 5 milligrams. I said, let's base everything off BPC just so it's really easy and I don't confuse you. Let's do 5 milligrams of BPC per day for the first 12 days, and then we'll probably cut it back to 1 milligrams of BPC. So in that intense phase, they're going to get 5 milligrams of BPC per day, 5 milligrams of TB, and 20 milligrams of GHK copper.
No, I don't know what his thing he says is this plausible for
NAD.
increased recovery.
Well, if you, I mean, it sucks to get out of bed in the morning and have your joints creaking and to have inflammation throughout your whole body. So absolutely. He also mentioned NAD plus, I think, right?
You did, yeah.
Okay. I'm not a huge fan of NAD plus because the amount of comments and responses I get from clients of the injectable form of like, I don't want to do this anymore. It really burns, it hurts, or I feel this crazy hard rush as soon as I inject it, and I feel like my heart's going to flutter for a minute. And it's true, it does, So I actually like the oral form. I don't know if you guys have used the oral form, and I'm normally an injectable guy.
I have,
But I've been using, and I'll tell you what, if I do 100 milligrams of NAD plus fasted, I feel it. I feel like heart palpitations for like the next 10, 15 minutes. So I actually cut my dose down to 50. And I'll tell you what, I feel great like throughout the rest of the day. So
I couldn't tell how I felt. It's when I was sick with that bug and we were, running it then. But yeah. So would you say it's worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mental acuity, better energy. Yeah, I definitely, those are the main things I would say.
All right. We got another one here in Patreon. The majority, now I asked Keith from Parabolic if he'd chime in. He didn't have time on this, but we have talked about it, so I've got some thoughts. He says, are the majority, if not all, peptides made in China, even for the U.S. suppliers? From friends, I got access to a reputable lab, but still a little hesitant. Definitely going to send it off to test. So
That's smart.
My understanding is that there are U.S. labs. There are obviously Chinese labs. I know that the company I just mentioned does have U.S. stuff. They also have Chinese stuff, which is, not doesn't cost as many bananas. You can get it for less banana. We'll put it that way. You get it for less bananas for the Chinese stuff. But what Keith had told me is that the main thing is dosing inconsistency that he's seen through the testing that they've done. And that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's Chinese, it's underdosed. Sometimes it's overdosed, which could be a problem, right? If you're getting a product that's like semaglutide, you don't want to take twice as much semaglutide as you meant to take. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It all sounds fine and good. Like, yeah, give me the overdosed vial, get more, But yeah, some of the stuff we don't want to take more.
I think we're probably all at that age where we don't want anything overdosed. We don't. We want to know that we're paying for what we're getting. It's accurately dosed, so we don't. We're just not making mistakes.
Yeah.
Same goes with clients too. Yep.
Yeah. And that even goes too with taking risks in general. Yeah. It's like if I have a client that we had some compounds. He's newer to gear. We had some compounds that have worked really well. And he wanted to try new stuff, And my thought is, why don't we take the compounds that work really well and let's now lean into them, right? Because I know we can do a lot more with them. And he's like, well, I want to try this new thing. So we add the new thing in and he can't tolerate it. He's having a terrible reaction to it. So that means that now a month into the cycle, we're now retooling. You know what I mean? It's like we could have been taking the things that worked and just smoothly pushed along and been, 5 weeks into a really good phase right now, Yeah. All right. Ray had been waiting patiently for us in the live stream. He said, as coaches, how do you market yourselves to clients if you weren't as successful in your bodybuilding careers? For example, Hani Rambod wasn't a successful bodybuilder like his client Phil Heath.
Well, that's no one's better than Phil Heath. You
get Phil Heath as a client, and then you don't. Yeah, that's how you get good.
Yeah. Well, care to explain how that happens? How he got started, or do we want to leave that one alone?
Go ahead.
I'll say this. At least in reference to Hani, we're not going to be able to start out the way Hani did.
It's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game, and there are things that were done and situations that he was in that he kind of, I don't want to say got lucky, but in a matter of networking and things like that. So how do you, I'd rather shift to, how do you get to the point of training high-level athletes or high-level bodybuilders if you are not a high-level bodybuilder? I don't know. I think everybody's story is probably going to be a little different, but the parallels are just going to be that you have done work that has gotten noticed. Your clients move up into the higher ranks, and they talk, and they say, "Oh, I'm working with so-and-so." It's a game of referrals. You're not going to, and tell me if you guys disagree, but you're not going to get high-level clients by posting on social media and showing before and after pictures, at least not directly. It's a game that or a situation where you move through and you climb the ladder, and the referrals and the word of mouth, if you will, gets you to that level. Do you guys disagree with that?
Andrew, before you say anything, I would like to introduce you on this topic. I remember that message I sent you the other day. I have to say that I've watched you coach now for a good number of years, right? And I've watched your skills as a coach progress. And I've watched you grow as a coach and really put yourself out there and push. And I've been watching this season, you're doing a lot of traveling. You are doing that work to do all that stuff and really push yourself to be that guy. And I've seen your clientele grow as a result. So I'm saying this more as an introduction to say, how are you doing it now?
Well, yeah, thank you for that. I think, well, let me just first also say that a lot of times when people associate big name coaches, they're only continuously getting already made Olympians. They're just kind of passing them around, whether it's Aceto, Brahmi, or Hani, and all these other coaches that people are considering big name coaches. They kind of got, as Skip was, basically what Skip was trying to say is they had a leg up because they were some of the first in the coaching game. So the bodybuilders that were anybody at that time went to those people, and then they developed a reputation. So, and I like to say they get the opportunity to just tweak Ferraris. They don't never have to work on Ford Mustangs and even Dodge Darts and you know, Toyota 4Runners and stuff like that. If you get my reference, right?
Yeah.
But I think, you know, for me, obviously, meeting someone like John Meadows was crucial to my development, not just from a watching and learning and mentoring standpoint, but also some exposure by being invited to feature the clients I was working on his website. And then I will also say being a part of this podcast, you know, you're getting some visibility, right? So thank you to you, Scott.
Hey, my pleasure, man.
Yeah. And then, but honestly, I think you just have to do the work, and you have to continuously accept that you don't know everything, and you have to continuously accept that you're willing to learn and not be dogmatic in anything. Because, I mean, you're going to get clients that might look similar on paper, but they're going to have vastly different physiques, vastly different metabolisms, vastly different phenotypes, etc. But in terms of like the marketing thing, yeah, I mean, I started just posting everybody, transformations, contest pictures, and it does kind of grow. Like for me, I started local as a coach. It was, you know, once you bring 2 or 3 guys into shape, your name kind of spreads into that circle in the state that you're in and the people that come to your state. And the next thing you know, you're kind of a regional coach where I'm coaching a lot of the New England bodybuilders and athletes. And then you start to bring athletes to the national level. And from there, like Skip was pointing out, someone had a great experience with you, and someone, say from California, reaches out to that person and be like, hey, I'm kind of looking for a new coach, and it seems like your coach is pretty on the ball, and you had a good relationship with them. Tell me more about them. And then that person takes a chance on you. And then from there, it just kind of continues to develop as you keep bringing athletes into the national level. Turning people pro is obviously key, and then continuing to bring people into the pro stage. I mean, 12 or 15 years ago when I really started this, if I thought that on this weekend I would have 5 pro athletes on a pro stage, which is what's happening this Saturday, I'd have been like, get out of here, man. If I even have 1 pro, like, I've made it. You know, I'm the coach of the year if I even have 1 good pro. And this weekend I got 5 pros, and it's a casual thing now. And I don't say that lightly, like I don't really feel the gravity of it, but it's my day-to-day now. And it's because of all the work leading up to that. So for all the younger coaches, continue investing in your education, continue finding good coaches to mentor under, and just honestly, you got to work with physiques, you got to work with bodies, and you got to keep putting people out there and learning from your mistakes and getting better and honing your skills. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is.
Very well. Yeah, you covered it very well. And I just want to point out too, if it sounds contradictory, I did say indirectly to any of the viewers who were listening, exposure of any type, the more exposure you get, the better. Yeah. That's why I have always told people, if you can get a chance to write, especially then write. And people will say, well, that doesn't get anywhere near the attention that a podcast does. That's not the point. You will still reach people who still want to read or would prefer reading, especially if it's detailed information, because they can go back and reference it. Some people are just different. Some want to hear it. Some want the visual of it. Some people want to read it. So cover all your bases, and the more exposure you can get, the better, definitely. But the indirect part was just that, yeah, I don't ever want to say that, no, posting before and afters on social media is not a good idea. So I don't want anybody to think that that's what I was saying. I'm saying no one's going to be scrolling, like a top level guy is not going to be scrolling through Instagram and going, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go with this guy. Look at this before and that's more of what I was saying.
You were alluding more to the relationship side of things and the word of mouth. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say there's a good upcoming amateur who's a friend of, say, a top pro or a top 20 professional bodybuilder out there. Because honestly, I've got a couple that are in that ballpark, and just because of the relationship and what you did for that person, bringing them from point A to point B, that person, the third person now is like, I'm looking for a new coach. This guy's on the ball. He's paying attention. He's getting back to him. Because honestly, you guys would be amazed at some of the stories of top level coaches that aren't getting back to people for 3 or 4 days. And these guys are 2 or 3 weeks out from pro shows. I mean, I hear them every day. I'm in many group chats, and
I would lose my mind if my coach didn't get back to me at like 2-3 weeks out from a show.
I mean, so yeah, I was going to blow someone up, but I'm not going to. 'Cause I don't like to be negative. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know all the situations.
True.
But it's, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
But it happens, and that's part of that word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to see, oh man, this is the condition. But we're in a different time now where those relationships, and whether you're being taken care of as a client, whether the communication is responsive, those types of things matter huge. Equally as important as they assume you're going to get them into great shape. No one's going to work with somebody because, oh yeah, he's really communicative and responsive. Oh, but he's, it's hit or miss on getting him. No, that's not.
Well, actually, Skip, it is 2025, and I do think there are some people that like to just be heard versus necessarily seen. But
yeah.
And to your point though, from the last episode where we talked about how 20 years ago a coach could just bark the orders at somebody and ignore all the other fluff stuff, right?
Yep.
And today, as a coach, you need to be up on digestive health. You need to be up on hormone health, especially for females. You need to be up on adrenal health. You got to be up on some level of mindset coaching on top of all that. You're kind of the guy that has to keep dangling the carrot in front of your client's face to keep them motivated for whatever phase they're in, because we're in such an instant gratification time period where I just did a show, I want to compete again in 6 months. And it's like, yeah, but you're not going to make the progress. Then you're going to get upset with me when we get the same result. So you really got to bridge out and explain to them and show them the whole process of what progress really looks like. And
I'll be honest,
I think I'm pretty
as a
successful
coach,
about that.
With that side of things, I'm happy to help people to a degree. But if they're not going to see it, I'm okay with being like, well, you're going to go to Andrew. Go to Andrew. And that's just where I stand as a coach. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, then we're not a good fit. You know, if somebody needs a lot of that. But I think you're absolutely right. I was just going to add too that I think I started in a lot of the same way you did, Andrew, locally. And I part of it, I wouldn't say it was luck, but it wasn't luck. I just remember initially helping people because I was in a position where I was doing well and people asked me questions. That's where it really started. And people said like, oh, well, how do you do that? You know, and how did you get like that? And that's how it developed. And I remember listening to Dave Palumbo say in like 2003 or so, he said that if you love what you're doing, keep doing it, and eventually it'll make you money. And I literally didn't know how it would make me money, but I kept answering questions. And then I started answering questions on message boards. And then people in the gym started asking me for their help. And then they wanted help with shows. And then I started helping a couple people compete. And I like literally my first coaching was competitors. And then from there, like those people would do well. And, you know, it's that do good work. I think that's the other part of it, right? You know what I mean? Like do good work. I had clients that freaking looked inside out peeled. And this is like the beginning of Men's Physique when people still didn't quite know what was going on yet. And I dieted them like bodybuilders. And we got like inside out peeled like a bodybuilder would. And guess what? They won every show. So then more people wanted to start working with me. And I became like the Men's Physique coach. I was like, I didn't intend that. But like before I know it, I literally, my leg day, I had like a troop of guys that would come and train with me. And there'd be like 3 of us in this group and 3 of us in the group on the machine next to us. And we would just rotate. One guy's off the machine, next guy's on, next guy's on. And we would just push like that for a couple hours, 2-3 hours straight. We did long workouts back then, but they were like all Men's Physique guys. They trained like bodybuilders. They ate like bodybuilders. And that's how it developed. And that's even before it went online. But I would say it all came back to like doing really good work, you know?
Can I add one more thing? Because to answer the question, you know, ask directly, how do you market yourself to clients if you weren't as successful in your bodybuilding career as like the bodybuilders or the athletes you're taking on? I can't think of any bodybuilder, with maybe the exception of Meadows, who coaches high-level people, that had, we'll call it an A-list career in bodybuilding, you know?
It's a great point.
Can you guys think of anybody that was, say, let's say a top 20 bodybuilder in any time period, or a top 20 physique athlete in any division?
There were guys that looked really good, like Aceto looked incredible, but it's not like he was Mr. Olympia, you know?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm getting at. And my point is, I mean, Bill Belichick wasn't that good at football, yet he's got a shit ton of Super Bowls, and he coaches some of the best athletes in the sport, you know? And then the last thing I just want to end on is that, and this is something I wake up every day and it's the first thing I think of, and I legitimately do, when I'm opening my emails for the first, you know, it's kind of like my, whatever you call it, routine, for people that, you know, want to coach high-level people and and then have a stable of general population people too. I tell myself, do not take anybody for granted. I'm not the most expensive coach out there, but I do know I charge a good amount, and you're paying for a service. And I just tell myself, do not take anyone's time for granted. There's some people that aren't going to take it as seriously as you want them to, but they're still paying. So I'm going to get back to them the same way I'm going to get back to somebody that's checking in every day on the ball 5 weeks or 3 days out from a show.
Yeah. I like that too. Hey, before we forget, let's give that shout out. We got this lined right up here, Andrew.
Oh yeah, it's my man Sid.
Hell
so
yeah. You look incredible, dude.
Yeah, this was the night before the show. This was we brought him down to the gym around. This is almost like midnight, and we just wanted to do like a 25-minute pump workout because I wanted to push a little bit more food at him.
Okay.
And he just got a mind-blowing pump and looked amazing. And honestly, he's still got great aesthetics. I'm blown away by his obliques and his serratus. Like that's like hottie type stuff, But yeah, no, Sid placed third at North Americans in the heavyweight class. I was honestly, obviously I'm a homer, but I was surprised he didn't win. And when he woke up that morning, I go, dude, we're going to win the whole show. Shame on me for assuming, but
yeah,
I mean, he was just on, and he was the most bodybuilder-esque bodybuilder there, meaning he was the guy that looked like he was ready to go to the next level and would fit in on the next level at a pro stage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so the plan for him is we are going to grow a little bit more. He's going to be a true super because we had the choice when it came down to weighing in. We were, do we drink a little less water? Do we drink a little more water when we get on the scale? Are you going to be a super? Or are you going to be a heavyweight? And we opted to go with our original plan of staying heavyweight. But he's probably going to be a super at USA's next year.
Okay. Wow. So not push on, not hold on to. I mean, because at third place, you're right up there, right?
I tried to push him, but he's very close with his family, and they have a vacation to Mexico. I think it's literally the 5 days before nationals, and while he could, this guy is like if you say 200 mLs of water, he will put it on the scale and he will measure out 200 mLs of water, but not 201, not 199, and he will drink that. Yeah, I mean, attention to detail is on another level with Sid. I mean, I stayed with him for the 3 days leading into the show, and literally I will say the easiest peak I've ever had because of his attention to detail and our communication, But no, so the plan is to do USA's next year.
Well, we should get Sid on the show because not only does he have a great physique, but he is also a huge fan of the sport. He'd be great to have on for like a preview show, especially because he knows everybody. He knows the details of all the bodybuilders. He'd be really good at that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely invite him on.
All right. We should do that. All right. Let me see what else we had. I know we had a bunch more questions still. I'll stick with the stream, and then I know I had one from YouTube, or excuse me, Patreon as well. We haven't even gotten to YouTube questions, but definitely, guys, comment on YouTube with questions and your comments, your feedback, all that stuff. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us, what do you want to see on the next show? That's really what that's about. Plus, then, of course, that stuff helps to boost our programming up. And if you are new here, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, what are you doing with your life? We'd love to have you along for all of our stuff. So hit that, hit the bell, all that. Ryan says for Skip, since he favors Masteron along with TRT to boost effectiveness, what dose of Masteron do you typically prefer? He says typically he's running 175 to 225 of test sip. And he said, Scott and Andrew, your input would be appreciated. You got to turn your mic on, Skip. I know it's your first podcast, but
it's like I'm learning, like I'm a newbie here or something. Thank you. That's twice in the same day. 200, 100. I think. So maybe a 2-to-1 ratio of, test to Masteron. You got to play with it. You might have to play with it a little bit just to see how you respond to it. But aren't you guys in the same neighborhood? 200, 100?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 250, 100 in there somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what I do is, I'm a fan of daily injections, and, most of the time I'm on 20 milligrams of test and 10 milligrams of, Masteron per day.
Okay.
Yeah. So right in line with what you're saying, 2 to 1.
And I'm not as much daily, if I'm being honest, just because typically when I'm running TRT, one of the nice things I like about TRT is I don't have to do as many shots.
You get a
And I
break.
also prefer my TRT in insulin pins, and they're just take forever to load. It's just little drip, little drip. Oh, here's a little surge, little drip, little drip.
So what I do is when I'm dicking around watching like a YouTube video for a couple minutes, is I just load up 7 of them for the week, and then
Okay.
so it's like I'm listening and I'm this is probably the most consistent I've ever been with shots. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, with the exception of like contest prep, right? But because we've all talked about off season, you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to take my shot today.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you do
getting
that
ready to go to bed. I don't want to be bothered
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you do it 3 or 4
yeah.
times, and you're
2
like,
days later.
oh, I skipped the whole week's worth. Like, well, I'm still growing magically. Wonder how that happens.
Yeah.
I must be training and eating well.
I'm due, by the way.
And you think you're going to go into the gym after you've missed it for a couple days. You're like,
yeah.
maybe it'll suck. And you're like, nope, killed it.
Nothing different.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do the test Mast thing years ago, anymore I find that my SHBG just gets so crushed. I start feeling really just crappy, so I have to just run just straight up test. It's
You notice a difference when your SHBG is too low and you feel.
and I didn't think it was a thing, man. I didn't think it was a thing, but I start feeling like it's almost like the zero test feeling or zero estrogen feeling. How like it just I feel really lethargic and just off. Yeah, yeah. It just gets and for me it's the long term. If I were to have like baseline everything's normal and then I were to run some Mast, I'd be good. But if I'm like just a little bit of Mast long term, that's when it starts catching up to me. So, yeah. All right, we got a physique critique too for this show, and back to back, this is another guy that I work with, and I am really excited to see what you guys have to say. So if you guys are part of Patreon, feel free to comment over there. Let me know that you want a physique critique. I know we had somebody, Chris. We'll get you on the next show, man. Yeah, let's definitely stay in contact. We'll definitely get you going there for the next episode. But this is John, and we're about 8 weeks out from his first show now.
He's ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to try to keep him that way too,
Scott, you do a great job of getting your people ahead. I've noticed, like, oh, this guy's 6 weeks out. It's like, well, he looks like he's 3. Or so-and-so is, 10 weeks out, and he looks like he could be 4 or 5 weeks out, like, consistently, which is excellent.
That's what you know what, man? I learned that for myself the season I competed like all year long in 2017. And what I discovered was that I was in shape in September, and then I competed again in October and in November. And you know what? It just got better and better and better. There comes that point. Here's my game plan with him is I want to burn him down now, right? Mm-hmm. So that we can get to that point that he needs more food. Eventually he's going to get to a point where we're no longer, 5 more minutes of cardio. Let's remove a cup of rice. Right. We're going to get to the point where we're going to have to put more food in. Let's do another high day. And then he loses a pound. Okay, let's do another high day, and before you know it, he's eating so much food going into the show, like comfortably, right? Like he's eating a high level of food where he's not hungry. We've basically pulled the cardio out, except for maybe to like keep the food digesting, you know what I mean? Keep movement. Yeah. And then stress is so low versus the opposite of that being when I first started coaching, or when I first started learning about how to prep for a show in 2008, 2009, the idea was that like you got to make sure that you peak at the right time. You don't want to peak too soon because you can't. No, dude, you hold that peak for a month, but you do have to have that iron will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just got to have someone that wants results more than they want food.
Right.
Yeah.
When you start adding those carbs in, that hunger starts to take
He's already
off.
got, go back to that side chest.
All right. Hold on just a second here.
Yeah, he's already got like pec striations. His glutes are visible. His serratus and obliques are visible. Like that. What's his weight and what's his height?
You know what? I could pull it up. Let me see.
I mean, just
here.
ballpark it.
He's taller, and he's got to be about 230 right now. I can't remember what his height is though. But he's in a situation where like we're not even worried about weight class, nothing. So, yeah.
Is he bodybuilder or classic?
He wants to be. His ultimate goal is. We'll see where he lands, but his ultimate goal is to be as big as a house.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, good condition, good structure.
Yeah.
Condition, yeah, obviously condition, but shape.
we've been
everything.
working. So we've been working a lot on back. What do you think, Skip, about what would he need to bring up for the off season?
Well, being a bigger guy and being taller, I mean, the back is never going to be too big. So there's that. It'll take up more space. Got a little bit of a long torso, so that's going to help with more back size too. But
Needs more arms.
Yeah.
Needs more arms and back. Yep, more arms and back. Yep.
But pretty good.
Good balance.
Yeah.
But I would definitely from the front more biceps for sure. From the back, just more density. Just overall more density to match the frame. Because as Skip said, as a taller guy, and I know this all too well, your back might look good when you're sitting there, but when you stand up and you're next to another athlete who's 4 to 5 inches shorter, you just look sometimes a little elongated and a little bit stringy compared to some of the other athletes. But I mean, how old is he?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm gonna say late 20s.
Oh wow, okay.
Late 20s, early 30s.
I bet the next 2 years are going to be pretty amazing for him. Honestly, he just rounds out.
Dude, we started working together. I think it was around the beginning of this year, and I immediately was able to just start getting food in him and getting him to grow. And we kept the pretty good conditioning while adding size. And we worked really closely on his training. So his training is like real dialed in, super focused, beautiful control. And he's invested in his own home gym. Like he has everything, man. You want a good hammer strength machine? He's got it. He's got like literally all the machines in his house.
I want to say this, and it would have pissed me off did piss me off when people told me this when Classic first came out. This gentleman should definitely think about Classic. I don't know if the pro card is something he's interested in, but I could see him like with his current physique, maybe a little bit more back density, going and getting a pro card next year in a Classic division. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, lines are real good shape. I mean, there's certainly, one of the things too, I don't think his quads are terribly big, but he's got lines for days.
Yeah, beautiful lines.
So, and I'm not saying they're small. I don't want anybody.
Sure.
The comment section, Joe, I said you were small.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing when you're tall, right? Is like when you actually measure the quads. Like I remember I'd measure my quads next to my buddy who was like 5'3", and his looked bigger on his frame. But you do the math on him, and it's like, nah, I got like 5 inches on you, bro. Yeah. It's just when they're elongated like that, it doesn't appear as out there as round, as big. But definitely biceps from the front is if I were to pick him apart, which I know he's kind of asking for.
Yeah.
Just a little more biceps, more biceps and more lats and more rhomboids and teres and just, I actually like his legs a lot.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his physique, so it's going to be fun to see, how things come together. All right.
Super hypercritical real quick.
Yeah.
There is probably something, a little bit of, it's not an impingement, but some type of scapular limitation on his left side, which is our right side.
Okay.
It's minor, but there may be something there with soft tissue work. Show it from the back again, will you? Let's see it as much from the, maybe a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is something, and that's, I say, pretty easy to fix. Pretty easy to fix from a soft tissue standpoint. He may find that he's more even and more symmetrical left and right if there's something that is bound up in there around the scap.
I'm going to be interested to see the way those glutes look when he's in shape, because I feel like, because I was asking him, I was like, is that down at the bottom, is that soft there or is that tissue? I think that his glutes attached pretty low.
That's tissue. That's tissue. Yeah, you can tell.
It's a crazy low glute attachment.
You know what I want to see on him is his lat spread, his front lat spread.
I wonder if he has.
I bet it looks nice. Because just as being a taller person myself, when you have that longer torso, it just makes you look, your shoulders look wider and your waist look even more narrow.
And your shoulders are good.
Yeah,
so I would imagine that front lat spread probably does look pretty good and very classic.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder, I'm going to see if he has any of these other ones. Hold on, give me just a second here.
Yeah.
Because he had some in the gym too. We'll go through these really quick. So those are always, morning fasted pictures. I'm not sure if he has anything that's, so yeah, he looks a little more pumped up here.
Yeah, he does.
But I don't think he has a lat spread though here.
Okay.
Yeah. Back looks a lot better with that fullness in it.
Yeah. John, hit a lat spread, man. I guarantee it's going to be one of your best poses.
Yeah, he's over on the West Coast too, like the Pacific Northwest area. I forget the show that he's doing offhand. I forget the name of it.
Oh, I think I got an athlete. How many weeks out is it?
It's around 8. I'd have to look, but
I think I got a female doing that.
It might be like the Northwest Championships or something like that.
That sounds like it. Yep. Is it like Washington or?
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
See if I can whip through a couple questions here, guys.
Whip it.
Whip it good. All right, just diving straight in. Andrew, how do you take your 20 milligrams of test daily? Do you use an insulin syringe?
I do.
IM or sub-Q?
I am.
Okay.
Put it right in the delt, usually rear delt. Sometimes if I'm sitting down, I just throw it right in my quad. Those are the only.
The reason I ask is because I'm telling you, sub-Q and oil don't work well for me.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Don't like it.
It's not like an abrasive mat. It's just kind of like a rubbing.
Yeah.
Something's in there, and it's
irritating, making the skin a little thicker. Yeah.
Yep. I know some people love it, and they say, "Oh, I don't feel it," which is, that's like anything in bodybuilding. What works for someone doesn't necessarily work for the other person.
It was Dr. Chrysler here in Michigan that started suggesting that years ago. Remember Dr. Chrysler, Skip?
Yep.
He had like the all men clinic or men's clinic, or it was something.
Yeah, I don't remember it from like back when I was there, but I do remember.
Yeah, he was like there was like an online presence, right?
Sure, absolutely. Now I did not know that he was from Michigan until you just mentioned it, though.
Yeah. So, I had a friend who was one of his patients. But yeah, he started the sub-Q thing, and back then he was having people do it with just a straight up, 3cc syringe. Just
oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
And they would do like the full cc of test, just pop that in, or whatever your weekly dose was. And his reasoning is that it was like the slow release. It was slow and even. All right.
So was the inflammation.
Yeah, right.
It stayed for a while too.
Okay. Ages. Is that a question? He says age is definitely a legit variable when it comes to everything. Training 4 times a week, working sets for everyone, recovering injury, quad tear, nutrition, gear, etc. Scott, please consider talking about this. How does age impact training and bodybuilding lifestyle? Well, Waldo, we tried to do that on the last episode.
we got into it and we didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I think we're all disgruntled because we're at that age where things aren't as fun as they used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, we got a little bit more hate here. So
Awesome.
Back to the Meadows topic of gear.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a legit point. He says, but what about the Meadows HGH dose?
What about it? It was, he's talked about it, so I'm not spilling any beans here.
Right.
But yeah, no, he used a fair amount of GH, but it wasn't like, 52 weeks a year he was running a bottle of Serostim,
Right.
It was more like, if memory serves, I think leading up to a show, I think he used, year round, but something like 4 units most days when he remembered. I remember being with him 4 weeks out from the Arnold Classic, and we were watching TV or getting ready to go to bed, and he's like, "Oh crap, I didn't even take my GH today." He still looked friggin' amazing. You know what I mean? It's but then I think I told you guys the he had to suck down. He looked amazing at 232, so he had to do 212s. He had to lose about 20 pounds, right, to make weight. because he knew with his height and size overall, he wasn't going to do much damage as an open bodybuilder. So
It was such a good move for him too.
Oh, I mean, now he's already the driest guy on the planet. So him having a sauna and having to sweatsuit it and get down to that weight, I mean, it was something to see. But yeah, no, he would as soon as he made weight, he'd do a nice little pump workout, or he'd get his water back in him. He'd do a nice little pump workout. Usually go have something like a burger and fries and a dessert, and then he'd maybe another clean meal before bed, and then he would do 18 to 36 units of GH, and sometimes another 18 to 36 first thing in the morning. And that fullness, which didn't really look like it disappeared, came back even stronger, I should say. So yeah, he put $200 or $300 right in the abdomen right before show.
Yeah, but I don't think we or he has ever made any claims that he was low GH. So
no.
We're just pointing out the fact that and you specifically, Andrew, that's why you were trashed in the comment section. Just stating that the AAS use was lower than the vast majority of people would anticipate that it was. So,
I would say it's probably lower than 98 to 99% of IFBB pros that stepped on a pro stage. I would say that I would put $1 million. I put $1,000 on it because I have 1,000. I don't have $1 million.
Yeah, it's a big bet.
Well, you plan on losing it? Are you not telling the truth?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put $1 million down if you knew you were going to win?
Yeah, no. I mean,
if it isn't one thing, it's something else.
Now and then someone was like, "Well, he didn't build his physique like that," and it's like, well, yeah, he did what all of us did in his 20s and early 30s, but everyone's got to remember he had major health complications that took him out of the sport for multiple years at a time. He was not blasting gear for those time periods when he was rebuilding his gut and his digestive system.
Right.
So,
and I want to say that was what, mid 2000s,
2004, 5, 6, something like that.
Because I know it was shortly after Intense Muscle came up in 2004, because he talked about it at length for a long time.
And he was a national level bodybuilder before that, and he was a national level bodybuilder when he came back. So,
it's funny to me that the takeaway isn't, from these viewers, why they don't just, the age, the wisdom, the experience tells him to come back and not do those bigger doses. There was no denying. Yeah. I don't think he would deny or had denied that he used heavier, or bigger cycles early on. I'd be curious, because I don't know even what those cycles would look like. But I got along with John, but I wasn't close enough to him to talk about him.
He had talked about some of that before. I had heard some of it. I can't remember. It's not like I committed it to memory, but
I've got it on a spreadsheet on my computer.
Like the legit old school bodybuilding cycles.
Yes, and it is nothing that anyone would raise their eyebrow at today and say,
exactly.
"Oh my gosh, that's why he got sick," or it's none of that. No, it was very comparable to national level, high level athletes that are gunning to put on good size and to compete at a high level. But I mean, it's the same doses we talk about, guys. It's nothing different, I mean, I think that's probably where I got a lot of my PED modeling from is paying attention to those types of things that he had documented and kept track on spreadsheets and whatnot, which he gave me all access to, and learning from that,
All right, got one more here. Just because he says, love the podcast, by far my favorite on your channel, Scott. Question for the next episode. Currently hitting chest 3 times per week, 8 sets per, for a total of 24 sets per week, as my chest is lagging. Do you think it's a good idea, or stick to 2 times a week, currently in a deficit, to add context?
I don't like it.
Well,
but I would say, you're already doing it, so assess, are you progressing? Is it getting, or are you starting to feel beat down to where you're overtrained, your rotator cuffs are bothering you, your shoulders are bothering you, the progression isn't there, then definitely back off. I'll be surprised to say it 3 times a week at that volume. If you're training hard, I'd have a hard time, unless you're gifted genetically, that you're going to be growing a whole lot. But maybe you are.
I would also want to ask, are those 8 sets all to failure, or are 3 of those sets to failure and 8 of them are, feeder, or, not fluff, but just they're working sets, but they're not all out grinding it to the, are they 8 rest pause sets that you're doing, or are they, but I agree with Skip. I would say if you know, you don't know until you try something. And just because no one else is doing it doesn't mean it's wrong, because if something works, then it works, right? So I would say, and also to talk about what Skip was saying about, you know, your rotators, how does that manifest, right? To me, you're doing too much if you're going and trying to train your back and you're doing pull downs and stuff and your shoulders just ache, or you're trying to do other body parts and your shoulders are hurting constantly. To me, that tells me you're probably using that joint system a little too much.
Yeah, if you're training biceps and you're like, my shoulders are on fire,
Yeah.
there's your sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, so that year that I mentioned, 2017, I learned a lot of stuff that season, but my bicep tendon was just bothering the hell out of me. And what I discovered was that, and I was doing like the 5-day bro split. And I discovered that, so if I'm doing 4 exercises for chest, 3 sets per exercise, I could do 2 good exercises, but then anything after that, my shoulder would start aching. So I really just like did like flies and pumped it and, you know, phoned it in for those last 2 exercises. So I said, well, what if I just did 2 exercises on Monday, on, you know, National Chest Day, and then later in the week when I do my shoulder day, I did the other 2. Okay. So I did that, right? And I ended up doing that through the whole season. And here's what I discovered. So I didn't increase the volume, right? I just increased frequency. And keep in mind too, at the time, this is a year into podcasting with Scott Stevenson now and Jordan Peters. And they're all about high frequency, low volume. And it's like, and here I am training with Shelby, right? And we're doing 3-hour workouts and squeezing things. And you got the Meadows bands out and all, you know, so very different. But I'm trying to figure out like how that high frequency stuff might work. So I thought, okay, here's a place I can try that. So I did that the whole season. First thing I discovered was this, that I could do 2 exercises. I could push hard, crazy, you know, my good intensity, and then cut it, no shoulder issues. And then come back and do that again a few days later. And so then I'm saying to myself, so I think that all of my volume that I'm getting in now is way more productive, probably 50% more productive, right? Because now I'm able to do this hard 2 times. You know, all my sets are like the first set of the day, you know? So that was one thing. And then the second thing is, after the season was over, I remember talking to somebody who commented, and so this was like, and this is a long season. I started dieting in February. I was in a deficit all the way through November and competed multiple times throughout. After that season was over, it was like January, February. I had some current pictures, and I was talking to somebody who commented, well, your chest is, they're commenting on like what I could, we're talking about what I could bring up. And they commented that my chest was a strong point. I was like, well, what? My chest has always been average at best. It used to be a weak point. And I looked at my pictures again and I was like, holy shit, my pecs are the best they've ever been in my life.
Tells you something.
In a deficit for like, you know, most of the year, right? So there was no additional volume, but I changed the frequency and I mean, you could argue I changed the intensity too, right? So I'll leave it at that.
Well, again, it goes back to, because I believe this person's asking, is it right? Is it wrong? And you were probably questioning, is it right or is it stupid to do?
Yeah.
But you tried it, you committed to it for a period of time, you assessed, and you said, hey, this did work. So I invite the listener to continue doing that. And if he runs into the issues that me and Skip were talking about, then, you know, it's probably not, at least for a long term, something you should be doing. But at least you find out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. And all I remember too is that my chest day was real short.
Yep.
You know?
You know, now I think about it, I did an abbreviated version of DC training like that. Like, it was like 2 exercises. And I did it like every 3rd or 4th day for upper body and every 3rd or 4th day for lower body, and then took a day or 2 off in between. And that was I thought with this low volume, and I wasn't even doing rest pause then. I was just doing, I think, 2 working sets, trying to match reps. And I was blown away at, how good my body felt. Like the joints probably felt better then than they ever have in my life. And I made a lot of progress. So yeah, try things out.
All right. I got a note from a listener on text, actually. Before we go, I have to find this email from John. John sent me a 3rd email. Oh, there it is. There's the lat spread for Skip.
My man.
All right. Let's see here. Screen share. I think you can do a better job at this lat spread, but I think that's a great start.
Yeah.
It is a good start.
It looks what I thought it would look like.
Me too.
So that's good. Yep.
Yeah. And
Put those hands back a little more.
Yeah, they're a little bit forward. Agreed.
But
he adds too. He says, "Please say thanks to the guys for the kind words." And Skip was actually right about the congestion in the right side of my back. Oh. If Andrew has the name of his client, I'd love to say hi to her at the show. He didn't expect me to read this, on the podcast. So
yeah.
If you want, I'll give him that information later if she's okay with that.
Sure.
All right. Look at that. We wrapped that up. We did an actual show today, guys. We've still got it. Skip, do we still have it?
We still got it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you being here. And thank you guys for taking the time out of your day. I know what it's like to be freaking busy with all this shit. And I'm grateful that you guys take the time to share your education and hang out with us. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear, guys, we will see you soon. Check out TrueNutrition.com, code THINK, supplementsource.ca for Canadians. Of course, thank you to everybody from Patreon. We did you a whole Patreon thing today, so I hope you appreciate that. And leave us questions for the next show. Comment on YouTube, all that stuff for another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear, guys. We'll see you soon.